In this video, I'm going to share with you how you need to KYC for all these IDO projects. And really the only thing that you need to have ready is your passport, a proof of residency, and yourself. In most cases, the KYCs all require some type of federal government identification, and this could include a driver's license, but I've found that a passport works best. And then the second layer of KYC that like 90% of all the Launchpads have done is a proof of residency. And that one is a little bit hard because you either need some kind of bank statement, and then they sometimes don't accept the bank statements, or you need a utility bill. But the problem is if you're renting, you don't have a utility bill. And they do this to make sure that you're not a dual citizen. Like, for example, if you're a dual citizen of the Philippines and a United States citizen, right? If your residency is all in the US, they still don't want you because they want to make sure that you're also residing in the Philippines and a Filipino citizen. And this kind of goes to how you can bypass KYC as well, which I don't recommend doing, but it's up to you. You can use your other citizenship. That's just some of the ways that people are doing bypassing KYC is just using dual citizenships or triple or whatever you do, but just using a whole different citizenship that isn't linked to the United States, since those don't allow IDOs. And the final thing is usually you're going to have to do some kind of selfie where you just turn your head in a circle for the camera. And sometimes you're going to experience things where they actually want you to take the passport and a picture of yourself with something written on it saying that this was a date or for this specific thing. Those get into the more complicated ones, but that's like the hardest KYC that you'll find, which is just a live type of picture taking of a passport, which means you can't sometimes just have a picture of your passport and just upload it. Sometimes it's going to require the actual camera on your phone or your PC and to take a picture. And they're really good at detecting whether or not you have used Photoshop. So I wouldn't recommend that. But again, this is your own decisions. But this is just what to expect for KYCs. In my experience, as long as you are legit, you can go ahead and do that. Now, what I've heard is that you can also just get family members to KYC for you simply because, look, like they could be the one investing too. Like it's not something that's too shady. But again, I'm not talking about that, just specifically on the process of KYC. So again, as a recap, you need some kind of identification. You're going to need a selfie of yourself, and you're going to need proof of residency. Now, proof of residency is not always required, but in 90% it is. Now, one last thing to mention is that for identification, sometimes you're going to come across an issue where, let's say, your ID is not very solid. So like in the Philippines, they have a PhilHealth ID, and they don't really use a passport. And the problem is that you kind of, and depending on different countries, they might not have a more legit type of passport or identification, and those sometimes will not work for KYCs. So it's best to just get some kind of passport or with your actual country, and that usually will do 100%.